Like the dark in the back. Welcome to the Get Up Girl podcast. I am your host. I am your gal, Joanna Vargas, and today is Two Chicks and a Mic. I'm here with my gal, Salome Valdez. If this is your first time here, we go live on Facebook, YouTube, all the places with video, and she and I have a chat about what's going on in our worlds this week, this month, and we call it Two Chicks and a Mic. And what we do is we just sit down and we chat. So Salome, good to see you. How are you?
Great. I love that it's October and it's going to go by really quick. It's already going by really quick and Halloween is almost here.
Yeah. And I was looking at the background, her background, if you could see it, if you want to go over, just go over to Joanna Vargas's Facebook page and you could see the video, but her back is all dark. I like that. Okay, let's jump in because you called me today. You had an idea for a chat, something that's in your world, something that you and I have talked about for a while. So take it over.
Yeah, something sparked something in me, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Christina Libardoni, who sent me this quote. She said, "This is so you," and the quote said, "My love language is reminding you of your power." And I said, "Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you so much for that." Although, and I reposted it and stuff, but although I agree with it 100%, but also don't agree with it like 100%. It's like 50-50. And this sounds so weird to you because it's like, how can you go 50-50, 100?
We're all of it.
We're all of it. Exactly. I really loved that she sent me that because I guess now I am known for kind of helping you or reminding you that you're magical and that you're powerful and that you can do anything you want to do in life and in the world, and you're, if you put your mind to it, this is how Back to the Future line, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Mhm.
So what I wanted to talk to Joanna about is that also, I'm pretty sure a lot of you feel this way and you're probably a little bit frustrated, or it gets a little bit impatient when you believe so much in people or somebody, but those people don't believe in themselves as much as you believe in them. I'm going to repeat that. You're probably a little bit frustrated or impatient when you believe a lot in somebody more than they believe in themselves. And this conversation, I wanted to talk to Joanna so that we can somehow figure out the tools, or I wanted to ask Joanna what she does when this happens to her, because I do believe a lot in people and it does frustrate me a little bit when they don't believe in themselves that much. And I want to know from Joanna what she does for herself to not get us frustrated or be a little bit more patient with people, because I've always known that even before I was very impatient, but I've changed throughout the years, and now I'm trying to figure out how can I show my love towards these people without being too potent about it. So
Okay, I'm right. I'm making a lot of notes because
yeah,
there's a lot of things that
that's
I
a lot.
want to get back to, because you just used the word potent, and I wonder if it's actually the opposite of what we think.
Ooh.
Okay, I am the recovering queen. I'm not fully recovered, but I am much different than I was before. And I was the superior bitch. That's what I call it, the superior bitch. And uh, I study some tools with my other classes that I take, and that's what we call it. It's kind of funny. Like, all right, are you being a superior bitch? Are you ready to take off your superior panties? And we laugh. It's funny because what happens is when we look at someone else, another person, another thing, and we believe, I'm going to use the word believe, not know, because that's not consciousness. True consciousness will allow someone or something to choose for themselves. When we believe that we know better than they do, then we will tell them, we will think, we will do everything in our power to let them know that we know better, they know less than us, and I am here to quote unquote help you. And it's actually not helping. We think we're helping them, but they're not asking for help from us. So I would say, gosh, at least 20, 15 years ago, I am so aware, I am so psychic, I have so many capabilities that I'm able to see things for others that they cannot see in themselves. Okay. So this is a superpower. And many of us have this, and many of us have it more than others. And I am so psychically aware that I could see somebody else's future, somebody else's capabilities, somebody else's superpowers. And sometimes they can't see it yet. I'm going to say yet. Now, also, Salome, they could probably see it and they're just not ready yet. Do you get what I'm saying? They could see it and they're probably maybe shy or angry with themselves or whatever it is, and they're just not ready to tap into it yet, discover it yet, go on that journey, etc., etc. We can go on with a billion different reasons. It doesn't matter. Now, the moment that we think we know better than they do, and we come on to them, that is being superior. That is us stepping on top of them and overpowering them. We are more powerful than them, than they are. And we actually are not. We are the most powerful person for our own selves, and they are the most powerful people for their own selves. And so true consciousness would have allowance for others to choose for themselves. And I'm going to define what allowance means. Allowance means, let's say, for example, you're in a stream of water. Everybody can focus and think of and envision a stream of water and a fast stream of water. These are the kind of like the roaring rapids. And there's, let's say, a big rock in the center. And there's a big rock in the center, and that rock doesn't move. There are some rocks that move that go with the stream, and there's some rocks that don't move. The rock stays there, and the water goes around them. The water will still hit them. The water will create algae, but the water will continue to go. That is what allowance is. When your true allowance for somebody else's choices, for somebody else's journey, then you're the rock in the stream. And the water just goes around you, and you're like, cool. They choose this, they choose that. Cool. Whatever they choose is their choice. But the moment we say their choice is not good, they should choose this because I can see this for them, that is now judgment. And that's not allowance. So when you are not in allowance, that's when the rock goes with the stream. Those are the little rocks that keep going with the stream, and they're getting kicked all over the place. They keep moving from place A to place B to place Z. They're all over the place. Then you have the allowance rock. That's consciousness. That's when the water just flows through you. So with that, those are the tools that you can use. So as soon as I can see somebody else's potential, somebody else's capabilities, somebody else's superpowers, I will pause and ask a question. And many times I ask this in my head. I don't ask it out loud, but I'm just saying this so nobody thinks you're cuckoo or whatever. Share it for yourself. But I'll ask myself, Truth, Joanna, can they hear it? Now, I'll get a yes or I'll get a no. Sometimes I get a yes, they can hear it. And I will tell that person because I have the awareness, the allowance that I know that they can hear it at that moment. So I'll tell them, I'll deliver them that message. And sometimes I'll ask Truth, can they hear it? And I'll get it, no, they can't hear it yet. Okay, cool. Then I just shut my mouth. Right? Now, unconsciousness is when I'm going to tell them anyway, they need to know. But if I don't tell them, then they're never going to learn. That's not consciousness.
Right.
Yeah, that's not allowance. That's the rock going with the stream. So that's the second thing I do, pause. Second thing, ask a question. And then the third thing, I just go with the flow and allow them to receive it however they receive it. It is not my responsibility to change them, etc. Because the moment I want to change them, that is me thinking that I am better than them and I am superior to them. And I am not. So that's the first like little thing, 1, 2, 3 step. The next thing I ask myself is, Truth, Joanna, are you doing this yourself? And 99.99999 million gazillion times, the answer is a big old yes. The moment I'm looking at somebody else going, gosh, you could do so much better. What are you doing? Why are you choosing? Blah, blah. And then I pick up the mirror and I look right at myself and I go, Joanna, Somebody's looking at you exactly the way you're looking at them. I've had hundreds of people look at me and go, Joanna, you could do so much more. What are you doing? And I can't see it that yet. I
Mhm.
can't see it yet, what they
Mhm.
can see. Now, I'm grateful that they told me because I know that they knew I could hear it. However, I could hear it. I was just not ready to step into it yet or choose it. I wasn't
Mhm.
ready to choose it. I'm still every day. I choose a little bit more. I choose a little bit more. I know I'm still playing small. I know I'm
Mhm.
playing small, even though compared to other people, I'm choosing pretty big. I take big risks. I've opened many businesses, et cetera, et cetera. And I still know, I am so aware that I am still choosing small.
Yeah.
I know that others look at me the way I'm looking at others. So I pick up the mirror and go, Joanna, truth, where are you doing this? Where are you choosing small? Because many times when we see something in other people, it's because we see it in ourselves and we're lying to ourselves that it's all them. What about us? And you're like, well, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, you're doing pretty good. And I know you could do better.
Mhm.
Not even better. I'm going to change that word. I know you can do greater,
Yeah. Or differently.
differently, greater, grander, but better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The word floats your fancy. And you totally, totally all get what I'm saying, right? Because we all do this. And especially parents too. I remember growing up, like my parents telling me things and not empowering me to educate me that I know for me. So the title of right now for this video we're probably going to change the title, but is you know for you. You know. So when the moment we come in and tell somebody that we know for them, no, we might be
Mhm.
able to see it. We're psychic, but they still know we are diminishing their light. And we're like, it's like you put a little thing over a candle.
Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
like, I'm going to burn it out, but then yet I'm telling you to put it back on.
Yeah.
Let the candle light, excuse me, let the candle burn as it wishes. But we
Right.
want to dim it and then we want them to turn it back on. It's like, dude, just let them burn as they burn. And sometimes they're going to burn brighter and lighter and whatever. So what do you think about that?
I absolutely agree with you because we've talked about this before, and I've agreed every time you've talked about it. And I've definitely, I've caught myself so many times when I try to be the savior or whatever you want to call it, and then I just like, oh, step it back. Mm-mm. Step back about it. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I am sure there's other people out there. We don't really talk about our side, like what are the tools to also help us with the side of us trying to help others or whatever. So that's why I wanted to bring this topic up because I know there's so many others people like me that see the potential in others, but the way they react towards it is differently in a way where they might make things worse and things like that. So that's why I really wanted to talk about this topic because I also want to learn on how to even express myself, what have you. So thank you, Joanna. I really like those tools that you did bring up, and I'm definitely going to be using them. And also, with that being said, uh, I I'm also, I love the word that you used, choose, because it's definitely it. You or her or I, it's about choosing that path. You yourself, you're choosing it for yourself. No one else is. So you yourself, you're choosing, you're thinking for yourself, but also it goes back to how do I put this? Uh control, the control. I'm going to use that word for now. Maybe you might want to change it, but the control of your life, because a lot of people tend to also say, I can't control it, or I can't control this, or I can't control that. And then I think that's when we start losing maybe the light or power. How do you feel about that, Joanna? People use that term.
I'm aware that again, I have to see when that person says it because I have
Mhm.
to see. I mean, I could read when somebody's saying something of that nature. But what came up for me is that most of the time when we say that, it's a cop out. It's a reason. It's an excuse to diminish our light. Anytime we use a reason, and I'm putting air quotes, everybody, if you can't see me, but a reason, a justification, an excuse. Anytime we do that, it's because we are diminishing our light to stay small.
Mhm.
And God, that's a whole other show.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
You know? It, I wanted to go back to your quote. My love language is, what was the word?
To remind you how powerful you are.
To remind you
To remind you of your
of
power.
your
There you go.
power. Yeah. And I wonder if we're open to, my love language is to remind myself
Mm,
of my power, of my greatness.
I love
But do you
that.
see how that quote is a point
Yes,
out?
yes, yes, yes.
And that's not consciousness.
That's why I
Consciousness,
said I like agree but don't agree at the same time.
a consciousness, true consciousness is, it has nothing to do with anyone else. It's about us and awareness with others and
Mhm,
asking a question.
mhm,
Everything's asking a question. Now look, I don't want to for this to be misconstrued as I never tell anybody anything. No, that's not the truth
mhm.
either. But the truth is that I'll ask a question, I'll get the awareness, and then make a choice. And a choice is only good for 10 seconds.
Oh,
You can ask again in 10 seconds later and go, ooh, okay, now they could hear it. You can ask it an hour later and go, ooh, they can't hear it.
oh yeah. There's been people that that I've spoken to about that, and I can tell when they take it in soft. They take it softly in rather than putting a wall or anything like that. So I can see the difference between putting a wall when they don't want to hear it, they're choosing not to hear it, and the people that are actually choosing to even just hear it and absorb it, think about it, and then maybe later on be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, because there's also that difference between absorbing it and taking it in, and then other than just putting a wall and not even wanting to hear it.
Okay,
Because
Salome, I want to tap on that because then that's judgment. What's coming up is that what we what we believe of what absorbing and receiving is,
mhm.
there's a judgment of what it's supposed to look like.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I
So we're
already
saying,
agree with you right now. Already.
because we're saying, well, okay, I'm going to go back to the question, can they hear it right now?
Mm,
And if we get a yes or no, it is not our point of view or our judgment to think what it's supposed to look like for them to hear it.
yeah. Mhm,
Sometimes we will get a yes, they can hear it, and
mhm.
they actually put up a wall, they actually fight you, they actually curse you out,
Ooh,
and it's still a yes, they can hear you. Do you get
ooh.
how we have judgments of what
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
hear?
yeah, yeah.
So
Mhm.
right there,
Good
it's a
one,
judgment. That's not consciousness.
good one.
Now, many, many times, I'm going to say many, 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 many times, I'll ask truth, can they hear this? And I'll get a yes. And I get kicked back to the high heavens. I get all kinds of excuses, fighting. Joanna, you're crazy. Joanna, you're doing too much. You're pushing. And I still have the awareness. They can hear it, but it's my judgment of what hearing sounds like. And it's actually going to create more. And I'll ask truth, is this going to create more or
Mhm.
decay? Decay the future or create the future? And I'll get create the future. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell them. And many times it could be end up in a fight. Many times it could end up in cursing. Many times it could end up in a blow up of a relationship. But that will actually create more. But do you see how we have judgments and
Yeah.
points of views of what create more
Mhm.
means? We think create more means everybody's wonderful and they're going to receive what I have to say, and then they're going to be quiet, and then and then they're going to go change their life. No, 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 no. That's a judgment. So true awareness, true consciousness will ask a question, and sometimes creating more will blow up in your effing face.
Yeah.
Many times with my partner, Patrick, I'll get truth, can he hear it? And I get a yes, and he and I will fight for 24 hours. However, on the outside of that fight,
Mhm.
he and I are closer than ever. It created more. But if I judged it through it, I'd be like, I got the awareness that this is supposed to create more, and it's not. We're fighting. That's a judgment. We think create more means everything's going to be wonderful. We're gonna be flipping around the block and holding hands, and this relationship is never going to blow up. And
Mhm.
you so
Yeah.
so many points of views and so many judgments, but then we come in and go, yeah, but that's a positive judgment. A judgment is a judgment. That's it. Judgment is a judgment. It doesn't matter. A point of view is a point of view. It has nothing to do with anything. So are you willing for it to blow up in your face and create more?
Yes. I just have to say yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I mean, I could go talk about this forever because it's so intriguing to me, because the moment I heard that, I was like, yep. For example, let's say, for example, I'm going to pay a big bill. Let's say I own $10,000 of a past expenditure, and I'm writing the check and my hand is shaking because I'm nervous, and I'm like, ooh, and I'm asking, all right, truth, if I pay this, is it going to create the future or decay the future? And I get, it's going to create it, pay it. However, on paper, I'm going to be negative $10,000. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car, blah, blah, blah. Now we think, that's not, how is that going to create my future? Because we have a point of view, we have a judgment that create my future means I stay in my house. It means that my car payment is paid, et cetera, et cetera. And what if it actually will create means, I don't know, you're homeless for a little bit. You sleep on your friend's couch.
Right.
You walk to work, on and on and on. And we're going, well, that's not creating my future. Well, that's a complete judgment to say that staying in your house is going to create your future. What if actually surfing on somebody's couch for 3 months will create your future? But we have to really uncreate and destroy all of our points of views, all of our judgments, everything that we have of what success looks like, everything of what we think greater looks like, everything of what we think better looks like. Because if you would have asked me so many years ago when I had my past partner and I said, oh, how does it get any better? And he left me, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. But it actually got better.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So now, Patrick, it's like a million, jillion, gazillion times better.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm thinking about a lot of stuff, but it's like you just seriously popped a lot of questions in my head. But let me just make this really quick, because Christina is the administrative director and pretty much my right hand for my dance company, Collaborate Dance Company, and her and I have been working really well together. And we've just recently, we had to make a few choices, and we had to ask questions and what's going to create more. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Joanna, because creating more for us right now does seem very stressful. It's like, oh my God, it's so stressful.
We're going to have to blow it up. Are you ready? We're going to blow this shit up.
And like, it hurts to do this, but now that you're saying it, it just kind of confirms it to me that, but it is going to create more. You know, it is going to create, we know, and we see like a little baby light, but eventually we believe that it will be better. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's just like a way of me thinking about it in a positive way as well.
Yeah. Also, I invite you to uncreate all your points of views that you have about your dance company, about creating more means. Because they're still in there, because your brain's probably going, well, we're going to do this, and my dance company is going to do this. And what if it actually is ending the dance company? I'm just throwing stuff
right, but that can create more too.
Yes. What if it's actually you change the name of your company? I can write a million different scenarios down, right? And you're like, okay, I trust that by asking the questions. And that's why I see as well, when I teach people how to ask questions, I could still see the resistance, because let's go back to the first thing, is showing someone else's power. Like, are you really, do you have the mirror to go, it's actually you. Can you create more for your life, your power, your knowing? Because when you ask questions, it opens up a whole other reality, a whole other realm of possibilities, like a gazillion million realms of possibilities on different planes, different, like, it's mind freaking blowing.
Yeah.
But the moment we come in with our points of views and we go, well, I am successful. Yes. And what if it's something completely different, and it's going to blow your freaking socks off? Are you willing for that?
Right.
Now, a lot of us are not willing. right? Or we're on that journey. We're starting to get it. I'm going to use the word get it. Like we're never going to have it ever. Like if I die, my last breath, if I ever have it, I'm like bored. That's boring. I'm like, I always want to keep getting it. That's the fun of life is
Yes.
getting it. The
Yes.
the getting it. Ooh, I'm getting it. I'm not there, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. And thank God I'm not to the end because that's freaking boring. When you're playing a game, Candyland, and we get to the end and it's like, nah, we're done. That's boring, right? The whole fun of life is like, ooh, let's see what's going to happen with this dance company. I wonder.
Oh my
That
God,
was freaking
Savannah, I
cool.
am laughing so much because it feels real.
Yeah.
And it's just and it's funny when I talk to people too because I'm recently going through like a heartbreak and stuff. But when I've been talking about my heartbreak, I kind of smile about it and I was like, it's actually really cute because I see it like as like I already knew I was gonna get heartbroken, but I still went with it. You know why? It's like because before that I was like, and we talked about this before, when I said, "Oh my God, I just love my life. I love what I'm doing." I kind of want to get heartbroken a little bit just because I'm bored.
The stuff we create because we're bored is 99% of the time because we're bored. And then people say, well, I'm not bored. I'm so busy. No, you're bored. We are infinite beings that can do infinite things. We get bored and we will create trauma to keep us entertained. And as long as when we can be aware of it, it'll go through that fast. You'll be the awareness, the rock in the stream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
And
the reason why I laugh about it because I'm like, I did say back then I wanted to get heartbroken. I'm heartbroken now. What's next?
yeah, what's next? Well, that was fun. Check.
Now I'm bored being heartbroken. What's next?
What's next? Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Awareness, because I'm going to say most, we lie to ourselves. We lie. And that's when we create, I'm going to use the word manifest. We manifest things in our bodies and our lives because we lie to ourselves until we get real. Oh, yesterday I got real. I was like, what's going on? And then finally I kept asking, what is this? What is this really, Joanna? Because it's masked. It's so masked. And then it just like rawr, came out. And I'm like, oh, where was that? I didn't even know that was there. Huh. And I just vomited everything that I didn't think was there because I was just lying.
Right.
Oh, it came out and I was like, oh, that was there. Interesting. Okay. All right. So what's the purpose of choosing this? I asked myself this. I think we talked about this a few podcasts ago, 2 chicks and a mic ago. And I'll ask myself the question, what's the purpose of choosing this? Now, you got to get real with that question. What's the purpose? And I chose, the answer for me was, I'm bored. That was the purpose. Why do you choose this? Because I'm bored, because I want something new in my life. I'm just bored. I want to move. I want to experience this. I want to experience that. Like, I'm so good at what I do. I'm like, next, bored. So then I create stuff. Just create little BS here and there. And I'm like, okay, well, at least it's exciting. And everybody around me knows that, like, we're having fun as we go. I don't know the answers either. And I'm like, if you ever around somebody that knows all the answers, run, because that's boring, right? Salome, you work with me, and I'm like, I'm figuring it out as we go too, even though I've done it 22 times for our dance competition. Still figuring it out, still changing it, still growing. If not, it'd be freaking boring if it was the same thing. I'm like, well, we did this last year. How do we change it? Well, we're gonna change it up this year. I'm like, that's not, and that tickles your fancy. Cool. It's just, that's not for me. It just doesn't work for me. I get bored. So letting the people know around me, I just want to let you know, I don't work like that. I work as we go. Boom, boom. And it's fun for some people and some people don't like it. They need the answers, ahead of time. So how cool for your dance company that you're like, well, let's see what happens. Where are we going to be in 6 months? Who knows? I wonder. Right? No freaking. And it's interesting how we went through the pandemic, through the lockdown. And it's like,
exactly.
Didn't we get something from that?
Right. Yeah, but how much did this pandemic create as well?
Yep. So much. And again, you could say, well, it's not for the good and we have inflation and blah, blah. Again, that is judgment. It's judgment to say inflation's bad or say inflation's good. What if it just is? Cool. What's next? I wonder what else can be created. What
Mhm.
else is next? Yes. Mother Earth gets bored. We get bored. Human nature gets bored. The universe gets bored. God, it's just like next, 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 next. We're creative beings and we keep creating, yet we're trying to keep it the same at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're making everything like a form and a
Yeah.
structure. Everything has to be the same,
Yeah.
same, the same. And it's like, well, what if there's no form and structure? What if there's a system? But a system can be changed, Salome. A form and structure cannot be changed. So let's
Mhm.
say, for example, you have a building, and a building, there's form and structure to a building. But a system is how you walk up the building. Sometimes you could take the elevator, sometimes you can go this way, sometimes you could walk this way, sometimes you could walk on the side of the building, but that's a system. But there's no form and structure. Form and
Mhm.
structure is the building.
Mhm.
Unless you blow up the building. You can
Yeah.
always blow up the building. Many
And
times
then rebuild it.
and then rebuild it. Exactly. So what if we just have a system? I totally get it. We need a system. But when we live in form and structure, oh, you can't change it unless you completely, completely blow it up. And that's what the pandemic was. We blew it up. It just went, phew. We're going to take all this form and structure out. And then we're trying to go back to form and structure. It's interesting.
Oh my gosh, Joanna, yeah. And remember that I told you this, that I went through something really crazy during the pandemic for my dance company. And I remember crying to you and all this other stuff. But oh my gosh, it created something new, and it created something even better and more imaginable. And we were able, it's like it was broken down. My dance company was broken down, and then we recreated it to something even more wonderful. And I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. I'm going to bring this up just as somebody listening, it might tap into them. But at that moment, and then we'll put a bow on this.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I asked myself, truth, can Salome hear this? And I got a yes. But I remember you didn't want to hear it.
Mhm.
You're like, I don't want to hear this, Joanna, right now, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm willing to receive that, even though I knew that that was going to be great for you. But
Mhm.
but I was just the eyes for you at that moment when you can't see.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't see. Yesterday, I couldn't see. I saw my doctor yesterday. She helped me see. Like,
Mhm.
I needed a team around me because I'm like, I just can't see right now.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to go back to the title, you know, for you. We do know. And we also have a team around us that can help us when we can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't see it right now. Help me because I am blind. And so I wanted to bring that up as well.
Right.
That was like an example of one of the they can hear she can hear it, but it's not going to look fun right now. And she's probably going to yell at you, but oh well, that's okay. Get what I'm saying? All
Yeah.
right. Anything else on me before we wrap this up?
Oh no, let's wrap it up, and then we'll just have another two chicks
Yeah.
some other time.
We'll have another one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. Maybe we'll turn this into 2 parts. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate you listening to the Get Up Girl podcast, Two Chicks and a Mic. If there's anything that you would like Salome and myself to talk about, please DM me on Instagram at Joanna Vargas Official. And our goal here is to help you ask better questions so that you can create infinite possibilities and get the tools to create your life that are completely different from all the other tools that you've learned. Because let me tell you, these tools work. If you're willing to really change your life, they work. They saved my life. Were you going to say something?
Yes. For the listeners, if you have tools as well, share them. Share them with us.
Yeah. Share them with us. We'd love to hear you.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Get Up Girl podcast. Until next time.